Hello friends, welcome back. Now we will create light and dark mode. So we will use some advanced function in React. The only problem in Gatsby is that we don't have a state as we have in React. So we will create a global state in Gatsby. Gatsby has something called Browser APi, and if we check this file, gatsby-browser.js, this is the file that we can use to do something like this. So what we will do is we will create a component with React context that we are going to use to wrap all the content on our site, all the pages and all the stuff is going to wrap with the context component. And we can achieve this by creating a context that we are going to do in this video. And in the next video, we are going to use this one in the gatsby-browser.js file. So that is the file that we use for browser API. And if you want to know more about this, you can read through this link, okay, which they have provided here. So we are going to use something called wrap root element that is from browser API, and wrap root element is something you use when you want to wrap your complete site with something. And in our case, it's going to be the mode provider, the mode context that we are going to create. But first, let's create the context, the mode provider in this video, and we will work on this file in the next video. So let me close this, and inside the src folder, we will create a new folder and name it as contacts. Okay, press enter, and inside this context folder I will create a new file and name it as mode provider.js. Okay, and here we need to write import react, and we are going to use a hook called use state, okay, from react. Then we need to export const mode context. Okay, so we need to create the context. So mode context equals to react dot create context. Okay, so this is the one, create context, and inside parentheses we will pass an empty array. So by default it will be an empty array. So this is how you create a context with React. And context is something which you can use when you want to share something in your application to the different child components, and that way you don't have to do prop drillings and send on props all the way down the chain of components. So this is basically used to create a global state, so we don't have to use Redux to create global state. Okay, then we will create the component. So const mode provider, that is equal to, and inside this will be an arrow function, but inside this we will destructure children. So and now we need an arrow function, and then inside this arrow function we will return mode context, okay, dot provider. Okay, so this is the property. So from mode context we have a property called provider. Okay, so that we are going to use here. Okay, let me close this, and inside this we need to pass a property called value, that is going to be an array, and inside this array we will have a dark mode and set dark mode. Okay, so here we need to define a const, and we have a dark mode and set dark mode. Okay, and the initial state will be true. Initially the site will be in a dark mode. Okay, that's why I've written true. If you use false, then it will be in a light mode. Okay, so as you can see, we have given a property called value, and inside we have an array of dark mode and set dark mode. So we are, by doing this, we are sending down the state and the setter for the state to our context, and this will make it available all over the application. And inside of the mode context we will render out the children's. Okay, so see children. Okay, let me save this. So in this way we have context as a wrapper, and it will render out the children, and we will provide the state and setter for the state for light and dark mode. Okay, now as usual we need to export this mode provider. So export default mode provider. Okay, so let me save this, and we are done with this. So in the next lecture, I'm going to show you about the browser API. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So we have created our context and our provider for the context. So let's move to the Gatsby Gatsby-browser.js file. So let me open that Gatsby-browser.js file. And inside here, we are going to use that one, okay, to wrap our site so we can get access to our contacts on every page and post on our site. So we will remove this text, okay. It is not required. If you want to keep it, you can, but I am going to remove it. Then we need to import React from React, okay. And then we need to import the mode provider that we have created in the previous video. So import mode provider from contacts / mode provider. Now we will use this inside of the function that calls wrap root element, and that's from the Gatsby Browser API. Okay, so here we need to write export const wrap root element, that is going to be an arrow function. Okay, and here we will destructure element. Please make sure to write the correct spelling. Okay, we can't put anything here. Okay, it should be wrap root element only. Okay, and now here we need an arrow function, and we need to implicitly return mode provider. Okay, let me close this, and inside this we will pass the element. Okay, so element. So now Gatsby will call the wrap root element, and it will make sure that it wraps the element with the mode provider. So this is how we set up the mode provider for our site, and this is all we have to do inside this file. So this will provide the mode for us in our application. So let me save this. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. So friends, welcome back. In this video we will create the light and dark mode component. So inside the components folder, we will create a new folder and name it as mode button and press enter. And inside this mode button folder, we will create a new file and name it as index.js. Okay. And here we need to import React from React. Okay. And then here we need images, the icon images. Okay, that are already inside this images folder. So the first one is daymode.svg and the second one is nightmode.svg. So these are the svg files. Okay, so we can directly import it here. So import day icon from images / daymode.svg. Okay, and the second one is import night icon from this name. You can give anything. Okay, I'm keeping it as day icon and night icon, images / night mode. Okay, dot svg. So this name should be same as this one, night mode. Okay, and day mode. So after that we will have the styles. Okay, that I'll create in the same lecture. Okay, now we need const mode button. This is the name of the component, and that is going to be an arrow function, and here we will destructure some props that are coming from the context API. So dark mode, and the second one is set dark mode. Okay, and here we will have an arrow function, and then we will implicitly return image button. This we will create. Okay, this is a style component which we need to create, and src, that is going to be we need to conditionally show the icon. So dark mode, if this is true, then show night icon. Okay, night icon, and if it is false, then show day icon. Okay, then alt tag will be mode. Then we have on click function. So on click, that is going to be an arrow function, and we need to access this set dark mode. So let's copy this set dark mode, and inside this we will have an arrow function. So prev arrow function, and this is the opposite of prev. Okay, so this will switch between true and false. Okay, so if the previous state is true, it will become false, and if it is false, then it will become true. Okay, now we will export default mode button. Okay, let me save this. Okay, we need to close this component. So self closing tag. Now save this. So we are completed with this component. Now we will create the styling for it. So let me close this, and inside this folder, which is mode button folder, we will create a new file and name it as mode button dot styles dot js. Okay, and here we will write import style from style components. Okay, and we will create the component which is image button. So export const img button. So let me copy this, and that is going to be style dot img backtick keys, and the width of this icon will be 30 px 35 px, and then we have cursor pointer. Okay, then we have transition, that is going to be for all 0.3 seconds, and effect is ease. Okay, then we have an hover, that is going to be transform scale 1.1. Okay, let's save this, and now let's import this here in index.js. So import img button from dot slash mode button dot styles. Let's save this. Okay, so we have completed the mode button component and done the styling for that, and in the next lecture we are going to implement this mode button into our site. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So in this video we will implement the mode button. Okay, so before we go ahead, I have done a mistake in mode button component. So inside mode button index file, okay, here the spelling is incorrect. So M is capital. So let me copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay, now let's save this. Now we will implement this mode button in the header component. So inside the header folder we have index.js. Let's open this. Okay, and we have to import the mode button component here. So inside this component, we will import mode button from components slash mode button. Okay, and we also need a hook called use contacts. Okay, so let me import from React. So use contacts. So by using this hook, we can easily access the contacts that we have created in contacts. So let me go to contacts. Okay, so we can access this contacts. Okay, which is in this file called mode contacts. Okay, so we need to import this mode contacts inside the header file. Okay, so after the hooks I will write a comment as contacts, and here I will import the contacts. So import mode contacts from contacts slash mode provider. So the file name is mode provider and the name of the contacts is mode contacts. Okay, so the file name is mode provider, and we are importing the const which is called mode contacts, that is holding our contacts. Okay, let's go to header component and let's move down. So inside our header component, here we will set our light and dark mode. So we can create one here. So const dark mode. So we are getting our dark mode and the setter for the dark mode from our context. So set dark mode. Okay, so we are getting the dark mode and the setter for the dark mode from the context. So that is going to be use contacts. So instead of use state, okay, we are using use contacts, and here we need to pass this mode contacts. Okay, which we have imported up here. We need to pass this here. Let's save this. By doing this, we are using this context and we get back the state for the dark mode and the setter for the mode. So now we have access to the dark mode in this component, and we also have access to the setter for that dark mode. Okay, and we want our mode button right in the header. Okay, so we need to replace this theme button with the real component which is mode button, and we need to pass the props which is dark mode, that is going to be dark mode, and the setter function which is set dark mode, that is going to be set dark mode. Okay, and we need to self close this component. Let's save this. And now we have one more thing to do because we provide the theme. So if we go back to the layout component, so inside the layout folder, we open index.js. So here we provide the theme as dark mode. So we are just giving it as a dark theme here. So we need to change this. So it can change the theme depending on the mode. So we need to use the context in this layout component as well. So we need to import use context hook. So use context, and after the hooks I will add a comment and context. So here we need to import mode context from, and the file name is mode provider. Okay, and from the context we need dark mode. So here I will write const dark mode. So we don't need the setter because we are not setting this mode in this component. Okay, so now that is going to be use context, and the context is mode provider. Okay, let's save this. And now we need to switch themes depending upon the context. So we need to check if dark mode is true or false. So here we need to write dark mode, and we need to give a ternary operator. If dark mode is true, then we are going to use dark theme. Otherwise we are going to use light theme. Okay, so let me save this. Now we are done with this. Now let's go to the browser and check if everything is working or not. So let's go to the browser. Let refresh. So now we are getting the button here, and if I click on this, it should change the theme to light theme. Okay, so let's click on this. Oh, it's not working. So maybe we have to restart the server. So okay, we are getting some issue. Mode provider is not defined. Okay, mode context. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it should be more context. So let me save this. Now it should work. Let me close this. Let's go to the browser. Let me refresh. Now we are changing the theme from dark mode to light mode. Okay, so now everything is working fine. If you want, you can change the image. Okay, it's looking good, and I'm really happy that it's working. So if in case your site is not working, then you can just restart the server by writing npm start. Okay, it should work fine. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So we have created the home page, the index page. Now we have to create pages for our post because we don't have anything here. Okay, if I click here, nothing happens. Okay, and similarly this pages. Okay, if I click on contact, nothing happens because there is no contact page created. So we need to create this. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to create slugs for our pages and post, and we are going to create that in Gatsby node file. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, and so this is the Gatsby-node.js file. We can have slugs in content. So if you check the post, okay, so let me go to content, and inside we have posts. So let me click the first one. So you can have slugs like this in the front matter. You can have it here if you want, but it is much flexible to create slugs automatically in our Gatsby node file because then you don't have to specify them here. Okay, so if you check out their documentation, let's go to browser, and so this is the documentation, and if you go to this URL, okay, so this is exactly what we need to do. So this is the code here is what we are using, and in the node API in the Gatsby node file, so we have access to something called create node field, and with this function we can create whatever fields we want in our GraphQL queries. So we are going to insert our own fields in Markdown. So Gatsby creates the schema for all the GraphQL queries. That means that is going to provide us with queries from Markdown remark. Okay, So let's go to Visual Studio Code and let me close this. We don't require all the other stuff. So now we are inside Gatsby-node.js, and here, as this is a node stuff, so we can't write import. Okay, so if we want to import any function, so we need to write const. Okay, so let's copy this. We require this. So const, and in the curly braces we need to write create file path, that is going to require Gatsby source file system. This is already installed because we use Gatsby starter. Okay, now I will add a comment. Okay, so first create slug for posts and pages. Okay, then we will copy this code. Okay, we need exactly this code and we will make some changes. So this is what we want, and instead of we need to change this path. Okay, base path is content. Okay, so let me show you why I wrote content, because all the posts are inside this content. Okay, so the base path is content, so everything is fine. We don't want to change anything. Let's save this. So from this function on create node, we have destructure node, get node, and action. Okay, then we destructure create node field from action. Okay, and we need a condition that if node dot internal type, that is going to be markdown remark, then uh, we are saving this. uh, we are saving everything inside this slug. Okay, so this is create file path, which is coming from here, and we are destructuring node, get node, and base path is content. Okay, and create node field, I have node name is slug. Okay, so here you can keep any name you want. Okay, but I'm keeping it as slug, and value is also slug. Let me save this. So this is everything we have to do to create our slug. Save this file, and in the next video we will create GraphQL queries to grab our pages and post in the Gatsby node file. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So we have created our slugs for post and pages, and it's time to create the actual pages for those slugs. So still in the Gatsby node file, means Gatsby-node.js file, we can move down here. Okay, and just below our create node function, we will export another function. Okay, so here we will export another function. So let me write exports dot, and the function name is create pages. So this function is used to create pages dynamically, and this one is to be async. Okay, so here we need to write async because we are going to grab data from GraphQL query in this one. So we have parentheses. Okay, so parentheses, and we will destructure our properties that we need. We need GraphQL and we need actions. Okay, then we will have an arrow function, and inside this arrow function we can do all the stuff that we need to create our post and pages. So in this video we are going to create a GraphQL query, and then in the next video we will create a template for the post and pages, and then we will auto generate these pages with that template with this file, which is gatsby-node.js. So here we will create a const, and we will destructure create page, which is coming from actions. Okay, let me save this. Then after that we will create a const and name it as content. Okay, and that is going to be a wait. Okay, we need to wait for the GraphQL queries, and here I will write my GraphQL query, but this time I will write it manually. Okay, so parentheses, backtick keys, instead of going to the GraphQL playground, I will create it manually. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code, and here I will need the query for the post. So post, and the query is coming from all markdown remark. Okay, parentheses, and then we need filter, and that is going to be front matter colon curly braces type, that is going to be equal to post, Okay, and here after this parentheses we need to grab the data from edges. So edges, then parentheses, node, front matter, and we need publish. So this publish is coming from here. So if I go to post, so this publish is coming from here, and publish should be through. Okay, so publish is done. Then we need fields, and that is slug. Okay, so now we have created the query for post. Now we need the query for pages. Okay, so after this curly brace, okay, here we need the query for pages. So pages, that is coming from all markdown. We mark parentheses, and then we need filter, that is going to be front matter, and again we need curly braces type, that is going to be equal to page. Okay, and this, after this parentheses we need curly braces, edges we need the data, so edges, node, then we need fields, and field should be slug. Okay, so we have created the queries for posts and pages. So let me save this. The develop process needs to be restarted for the changes to let me. Do you want to restart develop process? Okay, we will restart the develop process. I will cancel this. I'll go back here. So let me restart the server. So Control C and PM start. So it will restart the server. Now we will save this file. So now we are able to save this. So this is how we will use this data to create our pages. So all the data will be inside this content. Okay, this will be saved in this variable. Okay, so in the next video we will create the template for post and pages. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. In this video we will create template for our pages and post. So we will create post template first, and then we will copy that one and create the page template, because both are same. Okay, the coding for both the template will be almost same. So inside of the source folder, okay, here we need to create a folder and name it as templates. And inside this folder we will create two files. The first one will be page.js, and second one will be post.js. Okay, so we will be working on post.js. Okay, so here we need to write import react from react. Then we need GraphQL tag function, because we are going to create a page query here. Okay, so import graph curly braces GraphQL from Gatsby. Okay, then we need three components. So I'll write a comment, and here I will write components. We need three components. So the first one is layout, second one is image component, and the third one is SEO component. The first one is layout component. So layout from components slash layout. Okay, then we need image component. So this component is not yet created, so we will create it now, but let me write the path for this. So components slash image, only image. Okay, not images. So we will create this component. So inside component folder, so inside this folder we will create a new folder and name it as image. And inside we will create two files. The first one is index.js, I should be small. Okay, and the second one is image.styles.js. Okay, so we will import style from style component. Okay, let me save this. This should be from, okay, style component. And then we need to write export const, and the name of the component is image. Okay, that is going to be style dot sorry, not dot, we need image component, okay, from Gatsby. So here we need to import that. So import img from Gatsby image, okay. And here we are passing this image component here so that we can style it. And now backtick keys, and inside we will do the styling. So border radius, that is going to be 10 pixels. Then we have max width, that we are grabbing it from the global style. So we have declared that as a variable. So where, and inside the parentheses dash dash height dash max width, okay. So here I think there should not be a space, okay. Now we need margin, that is going to be 0 auto. Then we need max height, that is going to be 300, okay. Let's save this. So this is all the styling we need. We don't need to create anything inside this index.js. So what we'll do is we will import that image component, image style component. So import image, okay, from dot slash image styles, okay. So this was the name of the component, image, okay. So we have imported here, and now we will export default image, okay. That's all we need. So this is also done, this is also done. Let me close this, let me close this. And now back inside the post.js. So this was the image component from image. Then we need SEO component. So import SEO from components slash SEO. Okay, let me save this. Now here we need to declare the component. So const post, and that is going to be an arrow function, okay. But here we will destructure data. So data, and then inside the arrow function we will write const post equals to data dot markdown remark, okay. And now we need to return something. So return, and here we will return the layout component. And inside this layout component, okay, so this is the parent component, and inside we will have SEO component, and we need to give the prop title post dot front matter dot title, okay. So we are getting title from here. And then we need image component. So image, and we required a property called fluid, and we are getting the image from post dot front matter dot image dot child image sharp dot fluid, okay. This will be a closed self closed tag. Then we will have main, okay, main tag, and inside this main we will have h2, and inside h2 we will have post dot front matter dot title, okay. Let me close this. And then we have div, and inside this div we will have something called dangerously set inner HTML. So what is dangerously set inner HTML? So if I go to the browser and if I go to an article, so I have Google it, so you can, so make you understand what is dangerously in set inner HTML. So dangerously set inner HTML is an attribute under DOM element in React. Okay, this is something which we use in React. So according to the official documentation, dangerously set inner HTML in React replacement is a replacement for using inner HTML in the browser DOM. This means that if in React, if you want to set HTML programmatically or from an external source, you have to use dangerously set inner HTML instead of traditional inner HTML in JavaScript. So instead of using inner HTML, which we use in JavaScript, you can use dangerously set inner HTML in React. So in simple words, using dangerously set inner HTML, you can set HTML directly from React. Okay. So this was an article which I got it. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code. So here we need to write dangerously set inner HTML. Okay. So please make sure to spell it correctly, which is equal to two curly braces underscore underscore HTML, and that is going to be post dot HTML. Okay, and this will be a self close tag. Let me save this. So this div will show all the HTML from our markdown files. Okay, so now we have to create the page query, but before that, here I will export default post. Okay, so this is the component which we need to export, and now we will create the page query. So below, after export default post, we will now create the page query. So we need to write export const query, and that is going to be GraphQL. Okay, this is the GraphQL tag which we need to use. Okay, backtick keys, and inside backtick keys, I will write query, and here we will have variable in this one inside this parentheses. So for that we need to write dollar, and the name of the variable is slug. Okay, and that is going to be string exclamation. So it means that it can be null. We have to specify this. Okay, so we are going to send the slug as a variable, and we are going to do that from the Gatsby node file later, then from our markdown remark. So we will write this query manually. Okay, so we need to write this query manually. So curly braces, and I'm not using the GraphQL playground. So for that, now inside this curly braces, we need to write markdown remark, and inside the parentheses I will write fields, and that is going to be inside this curly braces we need to write slug, that is going to be equal to, then again a colon, and then dollar sign slug. Okay, let me save this file. So this is how you specify a variable like this. We use this variable here, and we will grab the markdown file that have the slug that we provide. The slug is going to be unique, so we know which file to grab from specifying the slug here. Okay, then we have curly braces. Okay, so we want the HTML, and we also want something called front matter. So front matter, and then inside the front matter we need title, and then date, and then we need image. Okay, then curly braces. For image we need to specify child image sharp, and inside this we will write fluid, and we need to define max width. So max width, that is going to be 2000. Then inside here we need to write dot 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 Gatsby image sharp fluid. Okay, let me save this. So this is it. So this is our page query, and we have also completed our post template. Okay, so right now we will not test it. We will test it in next lecture, but I'm assuming this is the correct code. And now we will copy the entire code. So let me select and copy it, and let's go to the page.js, and here I'll paste it. And we need to change the name. Wherever there is a post, we need to write page. Okay, so here it is, P is capital, so page. Okay, and then everything is small, so wherever there is post we need to change it. So command D. Okay, if you're a Windows user, then uh, control D, I suppose. Okay, so here I'll change it to page, and here P should be capital, so page. Okay, please make sure that you are writing it correctly. Spelling should not be wrong, and the page query is exactly the same. We don't have to change anything. Let me save this. Okay, so save the file, and the page template is also completed. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So before we move ahead, in the previous video I have created this page template and post template, but here I have done a mistake. So it should be GraphQL, GRAPH. Okay, save this. And in the post also we should have H. Okay, let me save this. Now everything is fine. So let me close this. And now we need to go to gatsby-node.js. And here we need to write a condition that if content dot error, if it is true, then simply return. Okay, so everything is in this content variable, and if it is content.error is true, then simply return. We don't do anything if it is an error, we just return. So we can add a comment here. So do nothing if error. Okay guys, this is fine. Now let's move ahead. Okay, now we need to create a const all posts, and that is equal to content dot data dot post dot edges. Okay, why we are saving this in a variable? Because we don't need to type everything when we loop through all the post. Okay, because everything is in content. Now it will go to data and then post and then edges. Post then edges. Okay, so we don't need to type everything. So this is post. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's keep this as post. Okay, let me save this. So make sure to make this as post. Now it is fine. Okay, here then we need to create one more const all pages. Okay, that is going to be content dot data dot pages. Okay, so here we have pages, right? So pages dot edges. Let's save this. Now we will loop through the post. So here we need to add a comments. So create the individual post and pages. Okay, so here I will write all posts dot for each, and we need two parentheses, and inside this we will destructure node, and here we need an arrow function, and inside arrow function we will take the function which is create page. So let me copy this. Okay, and here we will use that function create page parentheses, and then we need an object. Inside the object we will have properties. The first one is path, that is going to be node dot fields dot slug. Okay, and the second one is component, that is going to be path dot resolve, and inside the parentheses we need the path. So backtick key dot slash source front backslash template. Okay, templates, and then we need post dot js. Okay, so that is fine. Then we need context, and that is going to be an object, and inside this we will add a comment that data passed to context is available in page queries as GraphQL variable. So here we need slug, that is going to be node dot fields dot slug. Let me save this. So we have successfully created individual post. Okay, for post. Now similarly we need to create it for pages. So let's copy this, paste it here, and instead of post we will write pages, and here it will be pages. Okay, so now everything is fine. Now we need to add one condition, that if node dot front matter dot publish, if this is true, only then execute this function or execute this page, create this page. Okay, so let's cut this out, paste it here. Let me save this. Okay, so here we have publish. Okay, node dot front matter dot publish. So if it is true, only then create the post. Okay, for pages we don't require. So now we are done with this. Now let's restart the server. So let me close this, then Control C, npm start. Now let's go to the browser, refresh it. It will take time to rebuild everything, so we need to wait for a while. Cannot query field data on type markdown front matter. Check what is the issue. So we are getting some errors. So let's go to post.js. Okay. And here the spelling of GraphQL is incorrect. So GRAPH. And here also in pages, GRAPH. Let's save this. And now let's go to the browser and refresh it. So here also we have done one mistake. So in Gatsby-node.js, before this post, okay, we need a curly braces, and let's cut this out, okay, and we need to paste it here. Okay, so now let's save this. Now it is fine. So we need to add curly braces at the top and at the bottom. Now let's run it again and see what the issue. So npm start, still we are getting some issue. So let's go back. So here we don't need backtick key, instead we need double quotes. Okay, so just remove this and add a double quotes in Gatsby-node.js. And here I have done one more mistake. So here it is page and not pages. Okay, let's save this. And now let's go to the browser. Okay, let's restart it. Okay, so control and backtick key, npm start. Okay, and now let's go to the browser and wait for a while. So in the post.js, this should be date and not data. Okay, that is why we are getting an error. In the page.js also, this should be date and not data. Let me save this and let's go to the browser and check. And if I refresh, so now it is working. If I go to about, so we can see the about us page, and then in the contact we can see contact us page. So in the meanwhile, I have created this contact.md file. Okay, so you just need to duplicate this about.md, and then you need to change this slug, okay, to contact. This image should be contact.jpg and the title should be contact us page. Okay, so rest all, this is a dummy text, so you can keep it as it is. Okay, so that is why we are getting this contact page. And then this post will not work, but if you type anything here, let's say slash and anything, then you will see this posts. Okay, so this posts are also working fine, but uh, this functionality will work when we do the pagination. Okay, so we will do that in the next lecture. All the errors are gone and this site is working fine. So there were few mistakes which I did. There were some typo errors, so please rectify that and everything will work fine. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we will add the pagination. So let's start by creating the code in the Gatsby-node.js file that will auto-generate the archive pages for us. Then in the next video, we are going to move the index page inside the templates folder, okay, inside this folder, because we are going to create those pages dynamically. And the last thing to do on our site after this is to create the pagination component and add that one, okay. So now in the Gatsby-node.js file, we will create some new code that will auto-generate the archive pages for us. So after this code, just below this code, we will add a comment, create archive pages. Here we have to calculate how many pages that will be there. Okay. So for that, I will take a const and we need to create a variable. So posts per pages, that is going to be 2. Okay. So post per page will be 2. You can keep it more also, but actually we have only 3 posts. So I have kept it 2 so that we can see the pagination. Okay. Then we need to create one more const. So const num pages, that is going to be math dot seal. So this is a JavaScript function. Okay. And inside this parentheses, we have the length of all our posts that we grab from all post. Okay, so we want the length, so all post dot length, so we know how many posts we have, so all post dot length, and we divide that with post per page. Okay, let me save this. So this is a simple maths. We divide the total post with how many posts we want on each page, and that will give us the number of pages. We also do some math seal, okay, to get even number. Now we will create an array so that we can loop through. okay, by using for each loop. So to create a new array, here we need to write array a capital dot from, and inside parentheses we will take an object, and here we need the property as length, that is going to be num pages. We are using this property length because we want the length of this array, okay, to be the number of pages. So the length will be the number of pages, so num pages, okay. And this will create an array that we can loop through. So here we can write dot for each. So we will not use the first value, so for that we need to write underscore comma, and then we are going to use the index, so I. And then we need an inline arrow function, and inside this arrow function we will use a function create page. So here actually we need double parentheses, okay. So, and let's remove this, and here we need to add a parenthesis, okay, because we have two parameters, so we need a parenthesis. So we will use this function inside this arrow function, so that we have which we already have used here. So create page, and we need a parenthesis, and then inside we will have an object. So the first one is path, the first property is path, and here we need to write index, that is equal to 0, and a ternary operator. If index is 0, okay, then backtick keys, and we need to define the path as front slash, okay. So if index is 0, then show the home page, otherwise backtick key, and we need to set the path as dot slash, sorry, slash dollar sign curly braces I plus 1, okay. And then we have the second property as component, that is going to be path dot resolve backtick keys dot slash src slash templates slash home dot js. So this home dot js we have not created inside this template folder. We will create this in the next video. Then we have contacts, and here we need properties inside this, which is limit, okay, that is going to be posts per page, okay. Then we have skip. This is something used in GraphQL query to skip the archive pages, to skip the post pages, okay. So for that we need I multiply by posts per pages, okay. It should be post per page, okay. So I think the naming is not correct, so we will keep it as post per page, okay. So post per page. So here also we need post per page, okay. So this is fine, and now we need the property as num pages, in num pages. So this will give the number of pages for us, and then we have current page, that is going to be I plus 1. Let's save this. So it is auto formatted. So finally we have created some code for archive pages. Now in the next video we will create the home page inside the template page and move this index inside this template page, okay. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. In this video we will move our index page from the pages folder inside the template folder, okay. So inside the template folder we will create a new file and name it as home.js. And now let's go to index.js and copy all the code. So select all the code, copy it, close the file, and paste it on the home.js file, okay. Let's save this. And now inside pages folder we don't require index.js, so let's delete this file. So right click, delete, and move to trash, okay. Then here we can do some minor changes, okay. Everything will almost same, but we need to do some minor changes. So let's first start with the page query. So we have to modify it little bit because now we are using variables in our query. So up here, after the block list query, we will add parentheses, okay. And inside this parentheses we will call the parameters, that is dollar skip, that is going to be integer, and we need an exclamation because this is required, okay, then a comma, then we need the second parameter as limit, that is going to be again integer, and exclamation because this is also required, okay. And now we can use this variable in the actual query. So inside this all markdown remark, we can say limit, that is going to be dollar limit, and then we have skip, that is going to be dollar skip. And now we want to filter out the posts that aren't published, okay. So if you go to post and if you check the first post, so here it is, in the front matter we have given that published through. So we need to set in the filter that if this publishes through, only then show the post, okay. So after this post, okay, in the filter, after this post we need to add a comma, and we need to say publish, and that is equal to curly braces, and here we need to write equal to true. So if it is true, only then show the post, okay. Then we also want to auto create our slug, so we can grab that one from the fields. So in the fields, here we need to write slug, okay. So this is all we need to change in GraphQL query. Now we have to do some minor changes up here, okay. So here, if we don't find a title, then if there is no title, then we can grab it from the slug. So we can write node dot fields dot slug, okay. So if you don't add a title in the front matter, so it will take it from the slug, and then this key should be unique, okay. So we should not use the index, this is not recommended, okay. So you should never use index value. So now we have slug, and slug is going to be unique for each post, so we can grab it from node dot fields dot slug, okay. And this slug will be again node dot fields dot slug, okay. Let's save this, and now let's run the server. So npm start, okay. So everything should work fine. Let's go to the browser, refresh it. It will take some time. So there is something wrong here, so let's check what is the issue. So here the spelling is limit, it's a spelling mistake. So now let's go to the browser and check it again. Okay, so we are getting the website here, okay. So now you can see we have only two posts because we have defined there two, okay. So here in Gatsby-node.js, we have written that post per page should be two. So here we are only getting two posts, and if I click on this post, it should redirect to the to its particular detail page, okay. So if I again go to my blog, if I go to page blog post 2, so it will be as a blog post 2. Now in this lecture we will not do the pagination, we will do in the next lecture, okay. So now this page is working fine and I'm really happy. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. So we need one more component to build, and that's the page navigation. So inside the components folder, we will create a new folder and name it as page navigation, and press enter. And inside this page navigation, we'll create a new file and name it as index.js. And here I will write RAFCE, okay. Press tab, and here we need to change this index to page navigation. And let's copy this, paste it here, and here we need link component. So let me close this so we get more space. Import link from Gatsby, okay. And here we need two properties, two props. The first one is current page, and the second one is num pages, okay. And here we need to import the icons for the left and the right one. So icons, and here we will import left icon from images slash arrow hyphen left dot svg, and the second one is import right icon from images slash arrow right dot svg. Okay, now this will be the wrapper div, and inside this div we will have one more div. This will be the image, okay, the left one. Okay, so here we need to add a condition that if current page is greater than 1, and if the statement is true, then here we need to add a link component. So link to, and here the path is going to be a backtick key front slash dollar sign, and here we need to write a condition current page is equal to 2. If this is equal to 2, if current page is equal to 2, then we have a ternary operator. If the current page is equal to 2, then we have an empty string. Otherwise, current page minus 1. Okay, then we will close this link tag, and inside we will have an input. Type will be image. Okay, and alt tag will be left nav, and source will be left nav, sorry, left icon. Okay, so this is the left icon which we are showing here. Okay, now so let's see what we are checking. So if the current page is greater than 1, if the statement is true, then we will show the link component, and we will set the path which is current page is equal to 2. Means if the current page value is 2, if this is true, then we will show an empty string, we don't need anything. And if it is false, then current page minus 1. So this means that we are on the first page and it should not show the back button. Okay, so now after this div we will have one more div, the middle div, and here we will show the current page. So inside the p tag we will show the current page. Okay, and let's copy this entire div and paste it after this div, and here we will check if the current page is not equal to num pages. Okay, it means that we are at the last page, so we don't have to show this one. Okay, so if the current page is not equal to num pages, then show this link component, and here we need to change this, we need to remove this, and here the current page which is going to be current page plus 1. Okay, and here the alt tag should be right nav, and this should be right icon. Okay, let me save this. So we are done with this. We have completed this component, we have exported this. In the next lecture we will do the styling for this component and we will check it in the browser. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friends, welcome back. In this video we will create styling for our page navigation component. So we will create a new file inside page navigation folder. So right click, new file, and we will name it as page navigation.styles.js. Okay, and here we will write import styled from style components. Okay, and here we need to write export const page navigation wrapper, that is going to be style.div backtick keys, and inside we will write the css properties. So first one is display flex, justify content center, align item center, width, that is going to be 100%, max width, that is going to be, we will grab this from the global styles. So var hyphen hyphen site hyphen max width. Then we have margin, that is going to be 0 0 40 px 0. Okay, then we'll nest input. So this will be our image. So width, that is going to be 100%, cursor, that is going to be pointer, transition, we'll give the transition for all 0.3 seconds, and effect is ease. Okay, hover, we will give an hover opacity that is going to be 0.7. Let's save this file, and we need two more components. So export const image wrapper, that is going to be styled dot div, width that is going to be 30 px, and height that is going to be 30 px, and one last component. So export const current, that is going to be style dot div, and here we only need the font family. So font family new Nito black, and default font is Arial. Okay, let's save this, and now let's import this component here. So I'll add a comment, styles import, and the components are page navigation wrapper, image wrapper. Okay, so image, let me copy this, and then we have current. From dot slash page styles, page navigation dot styles. Okay, then we will change this div with page navigation wrapper. So this is changed. Now we need image wrapper. So image wrapper, here also image wrapper, and then we have current. So let's copy and paste. Okay, let's save this. Now we will import this page navigation component inside the home.js file. So that is inside the templates folder. So let's go to templates folder, and inside we have in home.js, and we will import it here. So import page navigation from components slash page navigation. Let's save this. Now let's copy this page navigation, and inside the main we will paste it, and then we will use props for this. So current page, that is going to be page contacts, and page contacts is something you get for every page. So this is a default prop, so we can destructure here. Okay, so after data we will write page contacts. Okay, so this is a default prop. Okay, so this will contain all the variable that we send from our Gatsby node page. So here we can write current dot current page. Okay, and then we have num pages, that is going to be page contacts dot num pages. Okay, and let's close this by using a self close tag, and now let's save this file. So everything is perfect. Now let's rebuild. Okay, now we should write npm start. Now let's check it in the browser, and if I refresh, so here it is, we are getting the navigation. So if I click, it's working fine. Right now there are only two pages, so if I go on the second page, it will show the blog post, the third blog post, and if I go back, it will show me the two blog posts, okay, per page. So these are the two blog posts, and if I go on the next page, it will show me the remaining one blog post. Okay, if I go back, I can see the blog post. So this is the first page, and this is the second page. So the pagination is also working. Let me check the other things. Okay, so it is working fine. Click on about, contact. So everything is working fine. So I hope you enjoy this course, and this is it for this video, and I'll see you in some other videos. Thank you. Hello friends, in this video we will see what is GraphQL. So GraphQL is a query language and a lot of people talk about it and some says it will replace REST API. But REST API are widely used all over the world for different projects and it's not going anywhere soon. So I will not tell you to only learn GraphQL because in the real world you are most likely to work with REST API depending on what project you are working. But GraphQL is great and it will be popular in the future time. And Gatsby uses GraphQL internally to query for data. So we will use GraphQL when we want to get some data, for example, from our Markdown files. So here is some intro text about GraphQL. If you want, you can read it. If I scroll down, here it looks a lot like JSON object. You need to specify your data and you get back the data. So this is GraphQL query here and you get it back as a JSON and it has exact same structure and it is very easy to work with data in your application. So this is all about GraphQL. We will use GraphQL a lot in this course. So this is it for this video and I'll see you in the next video.